Hey guys, Rick Shaw here. It's the 15th of September 2021. It's about 5 in the afternoon. We just got over a pretty good rain shower, straight down rain. I did a video earlier. I was upstairs and it was just too loud. And what I wanted to talk about today was folks that are going to move here, that are going to retire. One of my subscribers just hit town. He's doing his 10-day quarantine now, and then he's completely moving. He'll be here. That's Patrick. So hopefully on his travels down, we might be able to see him. I don't know how he's planning on getting there. He might fly there. I don't know. I have to wait and see what he says. But some of the things I want to talk about is when you first get here. When you come here, usually your sweetheart's going to already have a place that you're going to move to, and it might be something different than what you're used to. Like when I first come here, we lived in GMA. Hi, bub. Say hello.
I have a pencil.
Okay, good. Keep it in there. Put the pointy part down in so it don't poke you. He's got his little notepad. Yeah, like that. All right, I'm going to do the video. And we didn't have water only for a couple hours a day. We had to fill up drums. A little 500 square foot place, 450, 500 square foot, one story. Lots of dog poo around and stuff like that. It was one of the reasons I didn't fix it up, because I didn't want to stay. And we finally, we're in an okay place. But one of the things I didn't look into was the water. Like here, our water's it's hit and miss, just like the first place I lived in. I don't believe that it's a problem with getting the water. It's the management of it, because we have days we have really good pressure. I'm not understanding why one day we got really good pressure and another day we don't. Like today, there was no shower today. Tableau Tom again. Another thing here is the okay, bub. It's the electricity's out a lot. I mean, it is out a lot here. We just came off of almost 30 hours of no power. I had a plan down the road here sometime next year of putting in a regular generator with a transfer switch and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like a backup. But what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to get a small one now just to keep the fridge and deep freezer going, and maybe something so we could at least have the TV going for some karaoke or something like that, or a radio, and a light or two. So I'll get something small, maybe a 3000 or something like that. Honda, something quiet. And then I'll just hook it up through extension cords for now. I do have a place where I was planning on hooking up from the main coming in here. I had them put a spot in the wall there where I can tap into that, put a transfer switch on. I'll do a manual transfer switch. I don't need anything. We'll just come over here, and it'll be a nice thing too when we leave. If we leave and don't want any power coming on, I could just open that switch. They have a 2-pole double throw. I could have it in the up position where it's house power, and then halfway will be open, and then all the way down will be closed to the generator, which I could close it into that, latch it so that when we're gone, there's nothing running. If that's what we want. Usually when we're gone, we keep the fridge running, but with this lockdown, we're not doing what we want to do. That's a lot of things to do. But when you get here, look into where you're going to stay. You might not be too happy. You and your sweetheart got to figure it out. A lot of guys come here. It's just their sweetheart and them. Of course, you married the family here. Just remember that. But we come down here. I didn't do my what they call due diligence and really check into the power. I just assumed when we were in Carmona, the power hardly ever went out. Same with GMA. It was very rare the power was out. It had to be a big storm or an accident or something. And then the water, when we were in Carmona, we had all the water we could want. I mean, tons of pressure. But here, it's not like that. So check into that real careful. Find where you want to be. You might want to be in a place where there's a lot of foreigners around. You might be into like the bar scene. You want to try to get in the areas where you're going to do your own thing. What you and your sweetheart likes to do. Now us, we're not really into the bar scene. I'm happy if I see some foreigners and can meet with them and talk. That's always nice. But I don't have to be in a place like some guys go in Dumangeti. There's a lot of foreigners down there, and that's what they want. They want to go and see a bunch of their own kind there. But it's okay with me. We don't need that. So find yourself a spot. I would also recommend if you're going to do a house, do it yourself. Contract everything out yourself. One of the things I found out here, when you get somebody working for you, be careful of how you tip. Don't be too generous with the tips, otherwise you wind up getting, they think you owe them after a while. So be careful of that. We have a driver that delivers here, and I tip him good. And well, when we're gone, if we don't, he'll call. Hey, I'm going to be coming out. Okay, leave it at the guard shack. We're not home. He won't leave the stuff. And then we got to wait for him the next time because he wants that tip. So, I did tell him. I didn't give him a tip last time. I said, you didn't leave it for me. I'd have fixed him up later, but see, that was one of the things where he just got to where, okay, if I have to leave at the guard shack, I'm not going to do that because I won't get my tip. So be careful of that kind of stuff. Same way with the workers. You start doing them. We had a car wash guy that was coming out. He had his little tricycle car wash thing, and I was tipping him really good. And then he got to where he just started not doing a good job, and So, let your sweetheart dictate what the tips are going to be. You're going to find out a lot of places you need to, you tip. Like if people back you out of your spot from a store, you got to tip them. Or if they find you a spot, a 20 will do it. Do it like that. But if you come here and you really want a culture shock, get a car. Get a car right away. Believe me, you'll be culture shocked to the driving around here. If you're out in places that's away from the cities, the driving's not bad at all. I mean, we drove around Mindoro, it was fine. You headed away from Lipa City, it's fine. We go out towards Padre Garcia. It's pretty good. I'm learning, you'll learn when you can go and do things. Like there's certain times a day, like right now, no way in a million years I would head towards Lipa City. You're just not going to get through. The traffic's just going to be a nightmare. People are going home from work. They're stopping to shop. There's no parking in Lipa City, 500 peso fines, but people stop and put their flashers on and go shopping right in the lane of travel. So you're going to hit just nothing but traffic. So, you have to learn the times that you can go. Like us, anything after 10 in the morning until 3:30, we can head down there and we don't run into too much traffic. Now, we head over to Padre Garcia. We've always gone through the week and we had no trouble. We went this time on a weekend. The last time we went, I'll never go down to Padre Garcia again on a weekend. It was pretty crowded. The more of the shops were open, that's for sure. But you pay for parking on the weekends. They have people out there. Yeah. Hi, baby. And then what happened was you had these beggars, these syndicated beggars. Now, something you need to know, it's illegal to give them money. I actually had a cop one time tell me that you can't do that. You can get in trouble for that. And I said, I didn't know. And I said, well, if it's illegal, why are you letting these guys walk? Why aren't you saying something to him? And they just shrugged their shoulders and walk away. But don't get caught in that trap. Don't be nasty to them. When we were down there were like three groups of them. So they, the first guy that came up, I said, look, sorry, man. The cop told me it's illegal. I can't give you anything. I'll get in trouble. I'm a foreigner here. And it was cool. No big deal. And his little Serapi, that's a syndicate guy. And then, but then I hit the other ones of them. So they kind of harassed me throughout our shopping day there, and I wasn't liking that at all. So I won't be going back to Padre Garcia on the weekend. I don't know why those cops and security didn't chase them out of there. But you'll see that. Don't give them money, or they're never going to leave you alone. They're just going to keep hounding and hounding and hounding you. I don't mind giving the parking guys money. You know, like we have places that we go, and there's a guy that'll bring you, park here, and you park there, and then, you know, you got to give him 20 pesos. Sometimes we give him 50, like that. Don't overtip those guys too much, though. But if you're going to get a car here too, like us, I looked for used cars, and something you're going to find out. We looked at repo cars first. The thing with repo cars is, before the car gets repoed, if they can't make the payment on a car, they stop the maintenance. So you're going to run into problems, even if it's a newer car. Another thing, once they're repoed, they'll go into like a CarMax, or where they get bought up. The banks sell them like the CarMax or something, and these things will sit in these yards forever. And you don't want a car sitting for any length of time. I know when I knew a fellow had a used car lot, and he would get out there every day, start them all up, and he would even have his people drive them home. It's a used car, you can drive this one home today with a dealer plate on them, just because they want to keep them running. You don't want a car that's going to sit for a year before you get it. Another thing with the cars, and this is what I found out personally, the used cars here that a private seller is going to sell you, 9 times out of 10, if it's a good car, somebody in his family is going to get it. Not somebody on the street. You can find a good one if you're careful, but every time I went and looked at one, there were a lot of red flags. You got to look to make sure all the idiot lights come on. I saw a car where none of them came on when you turned the key, and the car was just burnt. I always smell the transmission fluid, smell the oil, look at the radiator fluid, look at the brake fluid. I've seen cars that never had the brake fluid done. I had one Filipino guy that I worked with. He had a Mitsubishi Mirage, and I was just checking it out one day. We were at lunchtime, and hey, can I check out your car? I never saw this model, and we opened up the hood. It wasn't that old of a car, but it was filthy. And I was looking at the oil, saying, "Oh man, you looks like you're ready for an oil change." And he goes, "Nah, my buddy told me them dealers are just trying to rip you off. You only ever need to change your oil once a year." And this guy was driving about 20 miles one way to work, and he's going to change his oil once a year. So, you got to watch the maintenance. They'll keep the outside real pretty. You'll see these ones, they're beautiful on the outside. The seats are all nice. Everything looks real good there, but underneath the hood, it's just trashed. And you'll see brake fluid that's just black. So watch for that kind of stuff. Now, I just opted for new 740. I think it was 748,000 for that one on a cash deal, and it's a good car, brand new Honda. So another car that if you're going to be living anywhere around a city, like me, I'm 6'8". I actually got in and checked out one of those little Alto 800s, and they also have an Alto. It's not the 800; they have a 1000cc, but a little 3-cylinder. I actually fit in them pretty good. If it's going to be just you and your sweetie, and you're going to run around and just go out to eat and all this stuff. With the rain, it's nice to have a car. That's a nice little car. They squeeze in anywhere. They're fantastic to drive. They turn tight as can be. Great little car. So if you're big, you actually fit in them pretty good. Now, I would recommend that you learn your jeepneys. I actually enjoyed cruising around on the jeepneys. You can go anywhere you want to go in this country cheap. Out of all the places I've been, the best transportation system I ever seen in the world is right here in the Philippines. You can go anywhere you want to go pretty damn cheap. They're starting to bring in these electric buggies. I kind of like the tricycles. Those guys they know their stuff. They can get in anywhere. These big electric 3-wheelers they got now, they're big and clumsy. They can't get them in. They can't turn around as nice. A tricycle turn around in its own footprint. These big things, they got to do all kinds of weird Y turns. They can't get you into a lot of spots. But I would recommend you learn the vans. Like for us to go to from here all the way from Lipa City all the way into Manila, like for immigration or something like that, it's only going to cost us about 350 pesos. We can go from here to Carmona for 150 pesos in an air-conditioned van. And, you know, these vans are great. Learn how to do these travels. Another thing I recommend, watch a lot of the other YouTubers that are foreigners here. There's tons of them. Just start looking for them. One of the ones I really love to watch is Tropical Tim, because he goes places, you know, and he's got some good stuff. He has a whole series on how you can live on $600 a month, you know, and I got a lot of videos on shopping. I don't really do a lot of the meats and stuff in the markets. We do some fish in the markets like that, and dried fish. You know, I love the dried fish here. A lot of guys don't, but like the fruit markets and stuff like that, you get your better deals than the grocery stores. We go in the grocery store. I pretty much we use the S&R a lot, and S&M or the Walter Mart supermarkets. Pure Gold's more of a Filipino store. And then they got the Super 8. That's more of a Filipino store. But there's also little tiny malls that have these stores that are just in your area where you can get some good deals if you need the Filipino stuff. I'm sure your sweetheart will know where all the good spots are to find cheap. You can really stretch your food dollar a long way if you're careful. We spend our biggest bill a month is food. Believe me, we could spend $50,000 on food. Not one problem in the world.
How about the gum?
Oh, we'll get that when I'm done with the video, bub. But learn that. Another thing I'd recommend, if it's going to be just you and your sweetie, get a motorbike. You know, like this one here, I wouldn't recommend this one. You know, I'm going to put a tricycle on it. I'm going to make a tricycle or something of that type for this. That's what this bike was bought for. But I'd like to get like a big dirt bike, a Honda, maybe a Honda CRF 300L, something like that. You have to have, when you're here, you have to have 400cc to get on the highway. So, you know, just know that. But I don't have a desire really to ride a bike on the highway. We got kids, so, and my sweetie and I, we're not going to jump on the highway. We're just going to be driving around local. And that's kind of cool. There's my sweetie now. She's hiding from the camera, She always hides from the camera. But they have some really nice bikes. I just actually drove. There was a fellow stopped here. He was doing some work here, and he had the Click, the Honda Click. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, take it for a ride. Just in here. I'm not going to take it out. I didn't want to hurt the guy's bike. It was fairly new, less than a year old for sure. And so I took it for a ride. It's got the, you just hit the gas and it goes. It's got the variable transmission with the belt. The left there's no clutch at all. You just hit the gas and it takes off. Like a recluse clutch on a dirt bike. Centrifugal job. And your left thing is a brake, is your front brake, and the right one's your rear brake. You have no foot controls at all. You can carry a lot of stuff on them. They got a good place to put your feet, and they seem like a really nice little bike. The only thing I didn't like them because the wheels are so small, but they're, you know, that's the bike here. There's a lot of those. You see a lot of the Mios. That's a nice little machine to get. I got a lot of buddies that have them. I've ridden the Mio 150. They got plenty of power. They go really good. Now, when I first got here, I used to help out a guy at a bike shop. He passed away now. But if you're going to ride around with your spouse all the time, as the weight goes up, he would take the little weights that are in there. If you're a 120 pound, 140 pound rider, stock, they're perfect. But like just for me, when I first got here, I was 260, 270. I was 290 when I got here, but I lost a lot right off the bat from sweating so much. But he said you'd have to change the weights in it so that the clutch grips a little bit harder. It's a centrifugal job. It's got all these little weights in there. I used to help them out work on these bikes, but they're like, these things are, you can't break them. These guys, there's delivery guys use them all the time because you can carry so much stuff on them. They can put big bags between their feet and hold them in. They don't got to worry about tying stuff on there too much. And they run these things every day for years. They put hundreds of thousands of kilometers on them and they just keep going. It's just a really good design, and plus they're super easy to work on. The bike actually, the whole motor and rear wheel just breaks loose. and comes off. So if you're working on them, it's a piece of cake if anything goes wrong with them. But they don't break. So, think about having something like that. But like with the car, just be patient. Don't get in any kind of a hurry. You're retired anyway. Don't be in a hurry. You're going to run into this traffic. Don't. And also, another big thing, don't worry about people beeping the horn. They're just letting you know they're there. I know when I was in the States, especially in California, if you beep at somebody, they want to kill you. It's not like that here. If a bike's coming up on your left side, he might toot the horn. He's just letting you know, if he doesn't see your head looking in the mirror, he's just letting you know he's there. And there'll be a lot of them come around on your right-hand side, too. Use your blinker. Use your dang blinker. But, accidents here happen. We actually were pulling into a 7-Eleven one time, and a guy came up on the right real fast. Had my blinker on. I was turning in 7-Eleven. He almost smashed into the side. And then he was all pissed off. Don't argue with him. Just sorry, and just forget it. You can't berate anyone in public. It'll get you in trouble quick, fast, in a hurry. So don't do anything like that. So these are just some few thoughts I have for people that are just coming here. I came here to start a family, and that's what we're doing. But most of you guys that come, you're just going to be there with your sweetie. Just remember, when you marry your sweetie, you're marrying their family. That's just how it's going to be. But most folks that are pretty hardy enough to want to come here, there's not a whole lot that go back. If they don't try to force this jab and all this kind of stuff, I'm not planning on going back. This is our home now. But just be careful, like this house. We love our new little house. I think they did a pretty good job on building it. It's just I'm really bummed with the water. We did finally get our windows sealed up much better than they were. They're not leaking now in the rain. We're not really having any trouble with any of the plumbing or any of the stuff they've done. We've got no leaks anywhere. Of course, we don't really have pressure, but all the time. Sometimes we do. I still blame that on the management of the water. I hope they get it straightened out for us. But we'll be putting a pump in here in October. My wife is just, no, I don't want you to put it in until the warranty's out. Okay, so I'm still waiting. I have the pump already. We're going to try to pump first. If that don't work, then we'll get a pressure tank or a tank. It's just we don't have a lot of room to put it. But check all these things out. If you're going to build here, build it yourself and check to make sure there's going to be water. Check to see if you got to have a tank. Check to see if there's going to be electricity so you don't have any surprises, okay? And, learn. Watch a lot of these guys. There's so many good YouTubers. There's a bunch of e-beggars here, too, that I really don't like to see. And they're getting tripped up. But there's a lot of really good ones to watch. There's one I watch, Santa in the Philippines. He's always, he just sold his place out there where he's living, and he's going to go back to where he first lived here. He's got some interesting stuff on there. There's let's see, I think the Black Filipino, he's got some interesting stuff. There's a couple other ones. I can't just think of all their names offhand. But just start looking around. Look for the expats, and you're gonna find a lot of them. There's Philly in the Philippines there. There's just so dang many of them, and they've got some stuff on there. Maybe not every video's for you, but there's gonna be a video somewhere in there that's for you. I've got over 600 videos out. There's something in there. I just didn't give them the names that I probably should have to make it easier to find stuff now that there's so many, because I try to go back and find stuff. So I wind up doing some of the stuff over, like what I'm doing now. But we are in a good development. One of the main reasons I picked this area, it's a little bit away from all the family. We're about 60 miles, close enough where we can be there, no problem in a car or take a van. Good highway all the way up there. It only takes us an hour, to get back. No problem at all. Even with traffic, it's never more than an hour. I like this because there's only one way in and one way out. Security's very tight. They just don't let anyone in. Even all these workers that are going home right now, every one of them's got to turn in an ID when they come in and when they leave. They don't let a lot of the drivers in or anybody in. Usually if somebody comes to visit, we have to let them know they're coming. Or the guards, they're pretty cool. The guards here are good. They'll call us. So, that's a good thing. So, but those are just some of the thoughts I had. Another cool thing too, if you come here, and a nice vehicle to have is a tricycle. We're planning on getting maybe putting a tricycle on this or something. We'll see what we're gonna do. I bought this baby cash. I actually, though, when my wife was on it, it's like seems top heavy and it's squirrely, especially if I'm doing slow speeds. I was thinking of putting a lower gear in it, which I still going to do. I just did some chain maintenance on it, but I had the dude came today to fix our screen doors. They put new bottoms in them because there's a whole new bottom. It's a solid plate, so the water does, because they had like pieces in there, like 5 or 6 pieces that slipped into the grooves, and water was coming in. And we talked to the people. I said, no problem, we'll come out and change it. So there's a solid piece in there now, and he caulked it all up to try to help keep the water out. But he actually walked here from his shop, and the sad thing is you got to walk 9/10 of a kilometer down and 9/10 of a kilometer back just to get right over there. So that's 1.8 kilometers he had to walk, and he was carrying two toolboxes plus a bunch of aluminum, and he walked here. So I took him back on the bike, and the funny thing was, when he was on the back of the bike, I hardly even noticed he was there. So I don't know what the deal is, but didn't have any problem driving him. We actually got into a slow spot where I was waiting for the oncoming cars so I could get him on his side of the road, and I had her down to crawling, riding the clutch a little bit, and no problem. And he had tools with him. He looked like he weighed maybe about 120 pounds, and he had a good, he had 15 pounds of tools and stuff, maybe 20. So, just, I guess the way he was riding, good rider. But, think about all this stuff. I'll have more. I'm gonna do a few more on these for people that are coming here planning on staying. And I do notice there's very few that come here that don't stay. Like I say, I don't have plans on going anywhere as long as they don't force things on us. I hope these lockdowns and all this stuff ends. Time will tell. Time will tell. I'd like to see my kids getting back into a school instead of this. We're having trouble getting a tutor here. We had a super tutor when we were up in Carmona, but she can't come down here. Wish she could even just come for the weekend. She was absolutely fantastic, but now we're having a hard time finding one. The kids are signed up for the school over here. Supposed to be starting this month, at the end of the month, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know exactly what's going to be up with that. My wife's handling that right now. But I want to see their work, what they're doing and stuff. And it's close. It's 9/10 of a kilometer from here. It's right on the other side of the development, right over the wall. So that'll be really good. And the other quick thing I wanted to say too before I let you go was, we got that's almost 3 years us having that, and doesn't burn a drop of oil. Car's just running like a top. This thing runs really great. Doesn't use any oil. Doesn't really use any gas either. Holy cow! You drive the thing forever and ever, and it just doesn't use any fuel. Brakes work good. It shifts good. I'm gonna do the oil. They have the oil. They want to get it changed again here pretty soon, and I think by the time I get 1,000 kilometers on it, they want to change it again. But I got synthetics going in there. Just remember, when you use these dirt bikes, if you're going to use synthetic, helps them run cooler. Make sure you get it for the dirt bike. I can't use the same synthetic oil I use in the car because it has molybdenum and it'll make your clutch slip. So you don't want that. But that's our beautiful machine. I'm really liking it. I take the kids for rides on it all the time. My wife and I took a big ride today. The other day I took a big long ride. I just like to ride a motorcycle. I'd love to be able to get the kids out. I just saw a thing on here where it's lightening up where kids can get out. It's a new thing started on I guess tomorrow. They're going to do granular lockdowns. I don't know how well that's going to work, but if it goes to this lowest one, you can get your kids out. Restaurants will be able to be at capacity and all that. I don't think they're going to push it as hard here as they had been. But the funny thing is, guys, we don't know anybody. Out of all the people my wife knows and everybody, we don't know anybody with this, COVID. We don't know. We just don't know anybody. So I don't get that. And then you say, oh, well, but the hospitals are full. Well, you know something? I've been here for 9 years now, and down in Manila, them hospitals are always full, especially the free ones. So, but I'm going to go ahead and let you go. It's running on a little bit long, and I'll have some more stuff for new folks coming here. Just remember, follow the lead of your sweetheart. They live here, and don't try to outthink them, because they probably know a little bit more than you about the place. And if if they come to the States, then you know a little bit more than they do. But since you're coming here, it's best just to abide by what they say as best you can. So this is Rick Shaw out.